Hello and welcome to this edition of Montgomery County Police Beat. I'm Patrick Lacefield, Director of Montgomery County's Office of Public Information, and I'm here with Montgomery County Police Chief Tom Manger to discuss current community issues from the perspective of our police force. Tom, welcome.
Always great to be here.
Now, recently you joined the County Executive, Councilmember George Leventhal, and a whole host of faith and homeless advocacy and community service groups in a campaign to talk about panhandling and to address the issue of panhandling. Can you talk a little bit about that event?
I can. We over the years, this issue of panhandling, people standing in the street, asking for money, has really grown in Montgomery County. I mean, we've gone from just a couple of locations to more and more and more, and it's become a bigger issue for us. And first and foremost, it's a safety issue. There's no question that these folks walking through the lanes of traffic and running in and out to try and get the donations, it's a danger to them. It's a distraction to drivers, and it has resulted in a number of crashes. And earlier this year, actually, the death of one of the panhandlers who was actually standing on the median when a car lost control and went up and hit her, and she was killed. So it's a safety issue first and foremost. The other thing that we're trying to, I guess, educate the public on is the fact that the money doesn't go where you think it's going. These folks hold up signs. Some of them say, my child is hungry. Things that just really tug at your heartstrings and make you want to donate. But the fact is that what we know is that many of these folks have substance abuse issues, and that the money is not going to something to help them. It's just going to drugs, alcohol, that sort of thing. So what really the purpose of the campaign is to try and educate the public to give, give more intelligently, smart giving. And so we're hoping that people will donate to food banks and to other causes that really will help these individuals who are homeless, who are in need, who go hungry. And so we're trying to make sure that the public, if they want to give, that they know where they can give to really help these folks and stop giving money to panhandlers, because it really doesn't help.
Well, I think what was most striking about the event and what's most striking about the campaign is the people who are doing the homeless advocacy, who are doing the work on the street with folks in need, whether it's a food, shelter, or a way to turn their lives around. They're doing this work every day. Mm-hmm. And you might expect them to say, oh no, continue to give money. And they're very hard on this, where they say, look, the money does not help people. It keeps them on the street. And on the street, they're not safe, and on the street, they continue to support whatever habits it is that they have. Right. And we need to get people off the street, and we need to give them help. And so I think that's what's most striking is some people said, oh, this is the county government telling people, no, it's the advocacy groups.
It is. It's a pretty universal message that from people who are on all sides of this issue seem to be able to get behind, and so I think that I'm hopeful that the public understands that we're not trying to be insensitive to the needs of these folks, but we're trying to educate drivers that giving that money does not help. The money's not going where you think it's going, and it really just makes the problem worse. And above all, it's just not safe. So we're hopeful that we can get the message to folks to give smarter, mm-hmm. and really make a difference in these folks' lives.
And I think we've set up a text where people can text from their cell phones. If they text the word share, S-H-A-R-E, to 80077, that's 80077, then they can contribute $5 to the Community Foundation for Montgomery County.
Right. That
then goes to these groups that are doing the nitty-gritty work.
Again, we're trying to help these folks, and we're just trying to make sure we send the message that giving to panhandlers on the street does not help.
Now, some people might say, well, why can't you just arrest them? Why can't you just tell them to move along?
Well, it's not against the law. In fact, the First Amendment allows folks to do that. That's the and really, I mean, I know that that would not be the best solution, even if we could. I mean, you know, trying to arrest your way out of that problem is not the way to go. I mean, these folks need assistance.
But they're out there panhandling for money. So if people don't give them money, then they're less likely to be out there panhandling.
Well, that's really
the root of the campaign.
That is, and the only way that this issue, the panhandling problem, is going to stop is if people stop giving them money.
Now, on October 1st, there's a change in state law that's going to be very important for Montgomery County residents, really everyone in the state of Maryland, to know about, and that's having to do with handheld cell phone use. Can you talk about the change that's going to start on October 1st?
You know, it's been against the law for a while to talk on your phone while you're driving, but it's up until now it's been a secondary offense, which means that if a police officer sees you talking on your cell phone, unless you're doing something else wrong,
like running a red light,
right,
or reckless driving,
right,
or
speeding, something,
right.
You couldn't be stopped for that violation. Well, as of October 1st, it becomes a primary offense, which means that if you are operating a vehicle while talking on a handheld cell phone, that you can be stopped for that offense. We have gotten together, I say we, the police chiefs in Montgomery County, the municipalities, Rockville City, Gaithersburg, Chevy Chase Village, Tacoma Park, we have all gotten together, all the police chiefs, and talked about how best to enforce this law, how best to educate the public, to let them know that, you know, that there is going to be added enforcement now because it's a primary offense. And we're going to go on a public education campaign. I mean, I think most folks know that it's not a smart thing to do, and I think most folks know that it's against the law to talk on the phone. But you can't drive down the road without seeing somebody talking on the phone.
Well, it strikes me that like many issues, we're all saints and we're all sinners.
Right.
In other words, we may complain if we're in traffic about somebody talking on their cell phone, but at the next instant, that somebody could be us.
That's right, and you know, the as we all know, the technology really has gotten us to a point where you can do it safely. I mean, there's some folks that think that talking on the phone, even with the hands free or with a Bluetooth device in your car,
right.
That it's still a distraction. But that's not against the law. I mean, what's against the law is holding the phone in your hand. What's against the law is texting, and that's always been against the law. So these are the kinds of things you need to focus on your driving. We look at the number of crashes, the number of fatal crashes that we have every day in this country, and you can tie it back, so many of them back to distracted driving. I recall, and of course it's been many years ago, but I recall when I was learning to drive, and the big issue was don't be playing around with the radio in the car, because that distracts you from.
That was back when you actually had to twist the dial, right?
Exactly,
You didn't pre-program.
Yes, right. But now there's so many more distractions that we have. I mean, everybody's got a phone. We've got GPSs. Everything. We're trying to do all these things while we're driving. All of that takes our focus away from what we should be really concentrating on, and that's what's in front of us, what's going on around us. So this distracted driving issue just gets more and more troublesome in terms of the number of crashes we're seeing from people who are driving while distracted. We used to make fun of people that you'd see people that were eating while they were driving, you'd see people shaving, you'd see, people putting makeup on, all these kinds of things. Well, now I'm telling you, it's just getting worse with all these other devices. So what folks need to know is that talking on a cell phone becomes a primary offense. That is, if a police officer sees you talking on the phone, they can stop you.
Right.
Now, I do want to say that I get calls fairly frequently from folks saying, "Well, I saw one of your police officers talking on the phone." Whether you agree with it or not, the law actually exempts law enforcement personnel. If they're doing official business, they are in fact allowed to be on the phone.
I think it also exempts people calling 911.
Yeah, I mean there are other small exemptions.
Right.
Exemptions. Most of them either if you'd have to prove that it was an emergency call.
Right.
But again, public safety personnel, be it firefighters, paramedics. I mean, they could be on the phone with the hospital as they're
Right.
transporting
Right.
a patient, that sort of thing. So I believe me, I've encouraged my officers to understand how the public views that. When they see them on the phone, it can be look like we're being hypocritical here.
Right.
Gee whiz, the police are on the phone, but yet they'll stop me for being on
Right.
the phone.
Right.
It's really about safety, and again, public safety personnel are exempted. But we still need to be careful and judicious, and certainly I've advised my folks, how the perception that with them using the phone. But the bottom line for the public is, it becomes a primary offense. You can be stopped. You can receive a citation, and nobody likes getting a ticket. So
and police are going to enforce it.
They are. I mean, we're gonna make sure we do a real good public education campaign for the first 30, 60 days, and then Montgomery County Police. Other police departments may start enforcing it earlier, but we're gonna try and give a good public education campaign before we do a lot of enforcement. But ultimately, we're gonna have to enforce that law to make the roadways safer.
Now, fines from this offense go where?
I think it's outlined in the law. I'm not sure. I think I recall seeing $50 was the fine. But as multiple offenses, it gets the penalties can go up from there.
Right. And but the money itself, I think, goes to the state.
Yes,
to
it
Montgomery
does.
County.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I think again.
So this has nothing to do with the Montgomery County budget.
No,
Except insofar as police officers are using their time to enforce a law that.
Yeah.
That
No,
they have to enforce.
anytime we write a citation to someone, the fines go to the state.
Okay. Now another change come October 1st has to do with seatbelts.
Seatbelts, right. Previously, if you were over 16 years old and sitting in the back seat of a car, you weren't required by law to wear a seatbelt. Well, that's changing. Everybody in the vehicle has to wear a seatbelt now. And of course, it's always been anybody under the age of 16 had to be belted no matter where they were. And of course, you have the requirements for child safety seats for our younger folks. But as of October 1st, it's all everyone in a vehicle, whether you're sitting in the front seat, back seat, no matter where you are, you're required to wear a seatbelt.
Right. Now, you have a traffic division that specializes in a lot of these sorts of issues, but really any police officer who's out on patrol can be involved in enforcing these laws.
Right, absolutely. I mean, our police officers, traffic enforcement is one of their many duties, and I can recall very, very vividly, when I was a patrol officer, and you drove around and you were often looking for many, many different things. I mean, you're looking at night, you're looking for different things, but while you're responding to different calls for service, but while you're doing all these things, you'll see somebody drive by, and you might observe some sort of violation, whether it's a moving violation or whether it's someone not wearing a seatbelt, and as you see those things, you make the stops, and you can either warn somebody or write them a citation. We have that discretion, but it's part of the duties of every police officer to do that kind of traffic enforcement.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things for people to take into account in terms of changes in the law, and also this new campaign, panhandling. It isn't safe, doesn't help.
Don't give.
Don't give.
Right.
All right. Well, Chief, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching again. Please join us again next month for another edition of Montgomery County Police Beat.
Drivers are at fault in more than half of crashes with riders, so give them room to operate. Use your turn signals and always look twice before changing lanes. Motorcycle safety. Think of the impact you could make.